Ladies and gentlemen, the announcement we have all been waiting for is finally here. Year 2 DLC for The Division has been confirmed. What is up, guys? It's Skill Up here, and I'm going to give you every bit of information we have about Year 2, knowing full well that more information is coming very soon. This news comes from Game Rant. Now, I've never heard of them before, but apparently they had access to some embargoed information that they released today. It's unclear whether or not they broke that embargo or whether they were allowed to report it ahead of everybody else, but Paul Tassi of Forbes explains that this information was embargoed, so it is possible that we weren't meant to know this until after the live stream, which occurs in just a few hours. The Year 2 DLC consists of 2 free expansion packs. Yes, you heard it, ladies and gentlemen. They are completely free, and they are expansion packs, as Ubisoft is calling them. Now, the first one of these is being released in summertime, which is June, July, August for everybody around the world, which means that the second one is probably going to be released towards the end of 2017 or in early 2018. There's no clear information on that yet. So, 2 free expansion packs, what can we expect from them? Well, to be honest, we don't know what to expect from them yet. We do have some quotes from Julian Garrity, who is the creative director of The Division, and just so that's clear, he is the top dog. He is the man at the top of the pyramid when it comes to The Division. And he said this: the first expansion pack that we'll be focusing on, which will be a pack for summer this year, is really going to continue the philosophy that we put in place with the 1.4 update. It's a philosophy of generosity and rewarding players for spending time in the game and playing and driving them to player-driven activities where they can craft their own unique stories. That's something we really believe in. Now, I'll be honest, guys, I don't really know what that means. I kind of suspected that probably wouldn't mean anything to anyone, given how purposefully vague it is. However, I will say it does convey one thing very clearly to me, and that it is unlikely that we are going to get much story content out of the coming DLC. This quote here where it says players can craft their own unique stories does not infuse me with a lot of confidence that massive plan to drive the narrative forward and conclude or at least progress the Division story, like what's up with New York and where is Aaron Keener and what other cities have been affected and etc, etc, etc. Further down in the article, Game Rant says that Garrity shied away from revealing any details about the new areas or extensions to the Division's storyline. So I think these things in conjunction, this whole player-driven story thing, plus the fact that they're not hyping the story-driven content, really indicates to me that we're not going to be seeing story stuff in Year 2. Now, I know this is a huge focus for a lot of people out there. Certainly looking at the Reddit, people are very much like, hey man, this better be some story content or else, and I totally feel that as well. But the fact that this was not called out in the article in a big way indicates to me that there's a good chance that it's not going to be going that direction. Given the demand for story content, I think that Massive would be putting that front and center of any announcement if it was going to be a priority going forward. So guys, when we find out more information about this, do look very closely at what specifically they say about how they plan to progress the story, because right now it seems like we're not going to be getting a whole lot. But I don't know though, obviously they didn't provide me any information before this. I'm literally going off what I've read on this Game Rant article, so I can't provide you any more detailed information than that. So there is some more information that was provided in this interview. There's one quote here: one of the biggest pieces of new content is an events structure which will reward players for participation and completion within a playlist of activities that have a modifier. Basically taking a set number of activities within the game and adding a spin to them that makes players see them in a whole different light and play them in a very different way. Now, this part is fairly clear to me in terms of what this is saying. This is definitely a plan to repurpose at least some existing content and then apply modifiers to it in the same way that Destiny does with its Nightfall challenges or its Raid challenges. So in that instance, they say things like, you deal bonus damage with this weapon type, or enemies can one-shot you when they melee you, etc. On the Division side, it's likely to look very similar to what we saw in the Underground, where enemy bullets, for example, can disrupt you, or you're taking constant damage that you need to heal, or potentially it could buff you. So for example, marksman rifles could deal like triple headshot damage on a modifier, etc. The sky's the limit with where they could take this, but it's a very sort of tried and proven sort of formula that's worked across a variety of games, including things like Diablo 3 for anyone that's played that. Now again, this doesn't call out the addition of new content per se. It really talks about different ways to play existing content. So it still remains to be seen whether or not Massive are planning to add additional content to the game or just changing up the way that we play the stuff that's already there. Perhaps the biggest news that came out of this is that they said very clearly that these expansions are PvE focused, but that PvP stuff wasn't off the table. That's a direct quote from the Game Rant article. And I think this is so important for Massive to prioritize PvE in the announcement of their Year 2 content, and to say that their content is about PvE and not even mention PvP content, simply saying it isn't off the table. That indicates to me that Massive are taking a step back from their longer term commitment to PvP in this game. If PvP was going to be a huge focus, it would be up in lights here in this announcement saying, hey guys, guess what? Year 2 is coming. We're doing heaps of PvE stuff. Here it is. We're also doing heaps of PvP stuff. Look forward to that as well. But they specifically called out that they're not going to be focusing on PvP, simply saying that PvP stuff isn't off the table. Very instructive with regards to where we can expect their focus to be, but obviously we need to wait for further details to see how that all unfolds. Finally, and to the delight of the community, no doubt, loadouts have also been confirmed. The Game Rant article quotes Julian saying, "There's a few things we'll go into more detail about during the live stream, and one of those are loadouts and specific loadout slots that we'll be able to provide players so they can switch from one preferred loadout to another to match a particular situation." Now, Game Rant went on to say that this does not include your mods, so that's interesting. We'll have to see whether or not our Game Rant were accurate on that, because they were not quoting Julian when they said that. They did just say there's going to be some messing about required with your mods. So unclear whether or not mods are going to be included in this. Personally, I certainly hope that they are, because having to change my mods every time would be a real pain in the ass. Regardless, it's pretty nice to know that loadouts are coming. It's something that people have desperately wanted for a long time. I personally don't play different builds as often as I would like, purely because of how difficult it is to change between them, remembering the pieces of gear, changing your mods, etc, etc. So to be able to click a button and move between different mods on the fly is going to be great. It also is going to help in, say, for instance, if you're cruising the Dark Zone, if you find yourself PvE grinding awesome, but then if you see a manhunt breaking out nearby, you might want to quickly switch to your PvP focused gear and off you go. So look forward to that. That's likely coming in that first expansion in summer. The other thing they mentioned was that they're also adding something called Feats. Now, Feats are a little bit unclear with what these are, but they basically look like achievements. They're going to provide you with things like patches, unique patches like on your gear, as well as other vanity items that show how players have progressed and achieved a certain level of confidence within the game, which I thought was quite odd language. But they're basically achievements, guys. Get something done, get some sort of vanity item in return. We already sort of have those with the Uplay store, or at least the Uplay system, where you get rewarded for completing things. This seems to be like another level of that, but actually embedded in the game rather than being external through the Uplay service. So that is it, guys. That's all the information we have for now. Now, as I said, I think this was an embargo leak, so we shouldn't have this information yet. I'm sure the plan was to get more information to us during that live stream announcement, which is happening in about 9 hours' time from the time that I'm recording this. I'm obviously going to be covering that, providing that news. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more news after that when the official embargo on this news releases. But until then, guys, Year 2 DLC for The Division is coming. It's confirmed. It's happening. I'm excited. The details are very scarce at this point, but at least we know that Massive are planning on sticking with this game. Hopefully, they give us the story content that this game so desperately needs, but we don't know that yet because they haven't said so. Hopefully, they do also keep some focus on PvP. I'm not a huge PvPer, but I still want there to be a strong PvP game in this, and I'd be disappointed if we didn't see some PvP activity as well, so keep an eye out for that. Guys, if you liked the video and you're excited about Year 2 DLC, drop the video a like, be sure to subscribe, because you know I'll be covering this game forever and a day. For now, guys, thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.